So the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and pot up the one that I can. And then it's just a matter of arranging. The largest, beautiful mum went in the back and the smaller plants went in front. The next thing that I wanted to do was add a little bit of light. And then finally, as a last touch, I had gone by the Dollar Tree and they had these really neat glass jack-o'-lanterns.
Grab some small white pumpkins and 2 hanging baskets from your local dollar store. Flip one of the baskets upside down and connect the 2 baskets together by zip tying the middle. Take a eucalyptus garland and twist the wire end around one of the spokes of the wire globe. Start to wrap the garland. Take your time and move the leaves through the spaces as you wrap the garland. Twist, move, and arrange the leaves so they face outward. Take some battery-operated fairy lights and nestle the battery pack into the bottom of the globe. Begin to wrap the fairy lights over and around the bottom half of the basket globe. Wrap over the top. Next, fill in the center of the garland-wrapped globe with a generous amount of Spanish moss. Remember those white dollar store pumpkins? Give them a very light dusting of spray paint. Tuck them into the basket globe and nestle them into the Spanish moss. Hang your new pumpkin globe on a porch or from a tree branch.
So I grabbed this tomato cage and I took some Behr premium black matte spray paint and I took it outside and I spray painted just the vertical poles of the tomato cage. Once the spray paint was fully dry and I cut off the top portion of my tomato cage, I then came in with some very heavy jute twine. You just start at one spot on the circle and you just lay your jute twine over top and hold it there until the hot glue sets. Once the hot glue sets, you just take the jute twine and you wrap it all around the circle. And then I just finish it off by securing it with a bit of hot glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process on the other side of the tomato cage.
Go ahead and grab yourself a tomato cage and also grab some wood shims. Grab a scrap board, take the thick end. You're going to get a nice clean hole. We're going to do this to all of our shims. What we're going to do is take a towel and just dip it in there, make sure it's all covered. Just wipe it on there. The sticky points that go into the ground, we don't need those. It's just going to snap right off. Now we're going to grab us some copper wire. We're going to put that through the shim with the hole in it. Just use it like a twist tie. Go all the way around. Once you get the second layer done, we're going to grab us a solar light from Dollar Tree. Take off that small part on the bottom, the stake. We don't need that. And let it float right in the middle. Now we're going to work on that last circle. Got this sad area in my backyard that I really want to spruce up. Once I use that level and a board to make sure it's level as possible, I'm going to set out a base of reclaimed bricks that I had. Once I get all the bricks out, I'm going to use sand as a filler. So I'm going to put some sand down, rub it out, and make sure that it fills in all the cracks. Next, I'm going to start handing out these pavers. What I'm going to do is lay these out and get them all around the edge of the bricks that I laid out. On the next row, we don't want to lay the seams on top of each other. You're going to go ahead and mix it up and put the seams right over the next layer. 3 rows is going to be perfect. Next, we're going to make a top for it. I'm going to lay out some glue because we need to make a brace to hold these together. I'm going to put these across and then I'm going to use my nail gun just to put some nails in to hold it in place. Once we get our circle all figured out and marked, it's not going to be that hard to cut it out. Once I got it cut it out, let's go ahead and get it sanded down. And I'm going to need some handles, and that makes it great. So when the fire pit's not being used, it's going to be perfect.
First, let's prep the pumpkins. I spray painted all of the pumpkins a basic white. I lightly sprayed the pumpkins with a green spray paint, kind of like an overspray. Once they're completely dry, then we can reattach the pumpkin stems. I took an upholstery needle and pierced through the ball to create a little tunnel. And then I push floral wire through to the other side with the folded edge. Then on the other side, you've got 2 little tails. Just take each one of those tails, fold it around the edge of the pumpkin ball and just stick it into the side of the ball. Now is the really fun part. We get to glue the pumpkins onto the styrofoam ball. Once the pumpkins and succulents are glued to the ball, you will notice there are still nooks and crannies, so fill those with moss. Finally, tie a ribbon to the wire loop that you made earlier on.
So to begin, I'm going to take this paint from Dixie Belle in the shade Dry Sage. So I'm going to take this clay dirt here, and using a small stencil brush, I am going to tap it on into the semi-dry paint. Next, I'm going to take some gray black paint, and I'm actually going to work it into the dirt, and then I'm going to apply that onto the vase as well. Next, I'm going to take this old wreath form that I had laying around. Then I'm going to take some artificial leaves, and I'm going to take some gold wire, and I'm just going to poke it through the bottom of the leaf, and then I'm going to work the leaf into the wreath form. And then I'm going to take this rustic dried floral, and I'm going to work that in as well. Next time you're at the thrift store, pick yourself up a couple of lampshades. To begin my project, I just took apart the lampshade, so I just began with some scissors, cutting apart the fabric and ripping it off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this little knob back on. Then I'm going to go ahead here with a hot glue gun, just going to attach this faux moss onto the wired parts. I came in with these solar fairy lights and wrapped them all around my lampshade.
The first part is making sure that the bottom is flat and level. When you're stacking the cinder blocks on top of each other, always make sure you use an all-purpose construction adhesive. It's going to hold the blocks together so there's no slippage or having them fall apart. On a project like this, you're always going to want to make sure you're wearing gloves. You're going to lay and stack 4 of these cinder blocks together. You're going to do this for both sides. Always want to make sure I take my level and just make sure it looks good. Then we're going to take 2 more, turn them the flat way. Use the construction adhesive, lay it down, and put the bricks on. These are going to lay sideways, facing each other. The next thing we're going to do, on the back half of the last cinder block, we're going to put some construction adhesive and lay this cinder block facing up. Now that we've got our cinder blocks in place, you're going to use a total of 7 on each side. The next step is putting the wood in. Headed down to my local Dollar Tree. I'm going to start with these glass beads. I'm going to also head over and get some rubbing alcohol. Next, I grabbed this bowl, got it from Home Depot. I'm going to grab some sand, start putting it in the bottom. So you want to fill it up to where when you get your bowl, you're going to kind of be level with the top and it has a firm foundation. Let's go ahead and start putting some more sand in so that it holds it in place to level it out. Make sure that bowl is firm. We don't want any spillage or that thing moving when we light it up. Go ahead and put the metal bowl in, and then remember those glass beads and start placing them all the way around. Take that rubbing alcohol and pour a little bit in there. Give it a little bit of a flame and it's going to light right up.
Grab some mini terracotta pots and string lights to make this easy fall-themed decor. Start by laying a strip of washi tape across the sides and bottom of one of your pots, leaving enough on each side to tuck the ends underneath. Remove the strip and lay on a cutting board. This will serve as your template for the rest of the strips. Once you have all of your pieces cut, lay them across the pots, smoothing them down and tucking the ends underneath for a neat effect. Now it's time to add your string lights. If the hole at the bottom of your pots is too small to fit the bulb, you can easily widen it by inserting the blade of a scissor and gently twisting to enlarge the hole. Insert the bulb and use a hot glue gun to attach the plastic portion of the light to the base of the pot.
I'm going to use this free pallet. I'm going to flip this over to the back. I'm going to cut the 3 main support beams right there. Then I need to remove the boards that are in the middle. Next, we're going to measure in between on the back side. I'm going to measure and cut these 2 boards. Now I'm going to take the smaller pallet boards, and those are going to be my fillers. Then I'm going to put the bottom and the top pallet board together. Go ahead and take all your pallet boards, put them in the middle. Then you're going to just take a screw on each side of the support and put it together. I'm going to go ahead and set it right into place. And oh, I was so excited. It fit like a glove. Next step is to go ahead. We're going to put those on, and look at that. Now we got to be able to secure the door. So just a little eye hook right there and put that in. So I'm going to put these eye hooks in and I'm going to use a chain. Now it's time to secure it to the wall. Be very safe when doing this. But once I got it secure, look at that.